Hey guys, it's Toby Morrison from CFS Health, and on the other end, I've got Lauren Giammarco from New York. Hello.
Hi.
So, Lauren, first of all, how old were you when you were diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome?
When I was diagnosed, I had just turned 42. And I would say that I had symptoms, faint symptoms of it for, when I think back now, probably like 15 years, maybe
Wow.
20 years. Yeah. Yeah. I saw a lot of doctors. Initially, they just kept giving me antibiotics, telling me that I had strep throat. I heard that it was, it's flu season and you're going through some stressful things in your life right now. So your immune system, you probably just, that's why you're tired. There was really no information beyond just take this medication. And then if you still don't feel good in a month, just do another round of antibiotics. I think it was the third or fourth doctor that I went to see that said this could possibly be chronic fatigue. And then I went to see a naturopathic doctor and functional medicine doctor, and then they confirmed that that's what it was.
Okay.
I had an instinct from doing my own research that it was chronic fatigue syndrome. And I think when I was told that that's what it was, I immediately started like Googling recovery stories because I didn't want the doom and gloom, because I was being told that by my general practitioner, primary care doctor, that it was something I would have for the rest of my life, which I refused to believe. So the first thing I did was just Google recovery stories, and I came across you on YouTube. And then that's how I found out about the program. And then I just reached out, and I knew, I just got this vibe from you that you were so genuine about it and you had experienced it yourself. And I just felt this sense of support from you before even joining the program. And it was just all instinct.
I remember our call and you were just like, I just want to start getting healthy. Like, I just want to, and at that time you were struggling quite a lot. What were some of the things that you were struggling with?
Oh boy. At that time, I was exhausted, unable to sleep through the night, but so physically exhausted. When I would sleep, it would be for sometimes like 16 to 18 hours. I was working still, but at that point I had told my employer that I needed to work from home. So I wasn't able to go into the office. I wasn't able to make my bed, cook for myself. There was stairs in the house I was living in, had trouble walking up the stairs. I needed my parents to help me with just basic chores. I was operating probably at about 20-25%.
Was there any other crazy things that was said to you? Like, we've heard some ridiculous ones in the past.
I was told to get my tonsils taken out, and then I wouldn't get the tonsil infections anymore. But they didn't realize that I was just having this heightened immune response for a host of other reasons. I think the biggest thing was being told you're going to have this for the rest of your life and you're not going to get better. And here's some pain medication. That was the craziest thing. There was no, like, are you hydrating? What's your stress level like? Are you working on your sleep? There was no questions around wellness or well-being. The symptoms were being looked at, and nothing beyond that. Every time I talk about this, it like blows my mind. I just wish what I knew now, I just wish I, knew then, but I'm glad I listened to my instincts because I knew that what I was being told was wrong.
When you're feeling so low and flat, and then most people kind of look to doctors for all the answers, and some of them are brilliant. It's not to mock doctors in general. We have, we have Dr. Olivia in our program. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like, stop focusing on symptoms and start focusing on wellness, and everything changes. And I remember our call, and I said to you, because you're like, your sleep was all over the place, and I was like, well, that's okay. Like, we can fix that. It's just going to take a bit of time to implement it. Once we get you a good routine structure and figure out your baseline and start moving forwards, you're going to do a hell of a lot better. What was it like when you joined the program? Because you were just all in straight away. Like, there was no hesitation. I remember you just joined up straight away. What was it like when you entered the program?
The journey that it took me on, it completely changed my life. So there's the physical aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to sleep and go slow. And you were encouraging us to actually move, not just lie down all day, but kind of listen to our body and all of these things.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta find the right amount. You can't do too much, but you definitely can't do too little.
Once that baseline information clicked in terms of the physical aspects of recovery, I'll admit it took me a bit, but once I got that, that's when I started to see improvement. But then there was this other piece of it, which is the mind and body connection. So all of the work that we do with Gemma and even with you, it was like opening up like Pandora's box. It was all these things that I started to realize about myself, like the limiting beliefs, even the belief that I had for years, thinking that I'm not a healthy person and I'm just not like everyone else. And, if I go on a trip, I'm going to have to sleep and I'm probably going to get sick, because that's just me. Like all these beliefs I had about myself that I had to untangle and work through and figure out the root cause. And like I said, it was the most profound journey to go on, but like the most important one, I think, that you can go on in your life because it's your health. Like I truly believe that if I hadn't listened to my instinct, things could be different for me right now. But I had the willingness to be open to it.
How did that feel when it finally clicked for you? Because you started going on hikes again, you started going to the beach. You used to put photos up in the group almost every week of a beautiful hike that you went on, or picturesque kind of thing. What was it like when you finally got it?
I guess I just felt free. I didn't feel it was a whole different level of confidence. And another thing too was in the beginning, initially, there was too much worry around everything I was doing. If I had a good day and I went grocery shopping, like I would worry that something was going to happen. But once I slowly started to get better and release that and stop focusing on symptoms, it felt like a new lease on life, I guess, really.
On a practical side of things, what did you focus on and improve? So you said quality sleep, getting routine and structure right.
Yeah, so sleep was number one because the wonderful Dr. Olivia taught me about why we sleep. That was a big one for me. So I got my sleep in order. And to this day, it's like my number one, 8 to 9 hours a night, no matter what. Nutrition, I did work with a naturopath to figure out some gut issues that I had going on for decades. So nutrition was a big one for me, hydration, and then lastly, making sure that the decisions that I was making are in line with my values. Like, is this adding to my life? Is this taking away from my life?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me too was not being afraid to advocate for myself and telling people what I needed, telling my work I need to stay home.
Boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries. Yeah, that was a big one.
What are the two things that you do in business? I know one of them that you're really passionate about.
So that's my business, Mindful Spaces. So I help people declutter, get organized, and then incorporate some feng shui elements into their home too. And I've been like actively doing that over the last few months. I think I probably could have done it a little bit sooner, but COVID kind of going into people's homes, weird. But now I've had quite a few clients over the last few months. I'm so happy to be able to do that again. Just the physical aspect of it.
Yes.
I could be in someone's home like for 6 or 7 hours, organizing a closet or whatever I'm doing. There's also just the passion I have for it, that I get to put this out into the world.
How important is environment, do you think?
It's very important. I'll be honest, when I was getting better, I lived alone and I created like this little sanctuary for myself to be able to heal. And I was privileged in the sense that my parents lived very close by and they were able to come over and help me cook my meals and help me clean. It was great. And if you're in a situation where, you do have people around you, I think it's important to set boundaries with them, to let them know what you need for your wellness and your well-being so that you can take care of yourself and get better. And like clutter is, especially in the bedroom, the more clutter you have around you, it interrupts your sleep for sure.
Can we talk about some of the wins that you had? Like we were just talking off air before, and I know one of your biggest wins, and I remember now, you had your first client that you had in ages to get back into this work, and you were like, shit, like this is a lot. I think it was 2 days, over 2 days or 1 day, but it was a big day and it was a physical day, and you were doing a lot. You shared it in the group as a big win, and you had your nutrition sorted, and it was a big step for you to kind of know that this is what you're actually capable of doing. Even though it was hard, it was new, but it was doable. So what were some of the wins you mentioned before early on? It was like, well, one of my wins was that I could cook a meal for myself.
And like thinking back on it now, it's like that was such a big win for me when it happened, and like being able to shower without taking a nap. I even remember the first day that I blow dried my hair and like straightened it, and I wasn't exhausted. It was like so exciting. When I did have that client, so that was in December. I decorated her home for the holidays because I do some decorating, and she had reached out to me. At that time, I was still like hesitant if I could do it, but I was like, you know what? This is going to be fine. I'm going to be in my element. I'm going to be happy. And I went there for the day and decorated. I did have 2 people with me that were helping, but it was amazing. So I think when you take the focus away from the symptoms, if you're in that place where you are starting to get better and you put yourself in those situations where you are doing something that you love, whether it's hiking or drawing or writing or whatever it is, it's sending messages to the brain like more of this, and you just feel good.
And you did it appropriately, like you built up. And same thing with the hiking. You didn't go and do a stupid hike that wasn't appropriate for you. You just conditioned.
Oh no, never.
Exactly. This is what a lot of people are having the missing link. They don't have the right structure and the right baseline to appropriately just do what they need to do. And you did it, and you built the capacity in your body to do more. And then you also just retrained your brain to get back into things that you love, because you're selling jewelry. Is that right as well?
Yeah, it's jewelry packaging.
Yeah, but quite high end as well, right?
Yeah, it's high, it's a lot of volume. It's busy. I'm I'm coming into like over 100 emails a day. So the mental piece of it is a lot. Being able to in those moments not be reactive and stay true to who I am and be confident in that. I deal with multiple types of personalities, and when I was prior to my recovery, I would just be exhausted, I think, by my own like reactions to things, which I know didn't help my health. Now it's like, I know who I am. I accept who you are. Let's just move on. I feel like safe in my body to be able to do that. That was another big thing for me. Like nothing's going to go wrong. Everything's okay. I won't be tired. If I stand up for myself in this situation, I won't be exhausted after. You build like that safety. That's, I guess a form of brain retraining, rewiring when you go through that.
Yeah, reassuring yourself as well. Where are you at now? Like, what's going on? Are you in a new relationship? It seems like life is just happening for you now.
Yeah, I am. I think I believe in, what we focus on, certainly what we attract. When our heart's in the right place, when our mind's in the right place, what's for us, I think, shows up. So yeah, definitely good, solid, healthy, non-toxic relationship, which feels amazing. Doing my business part-time, and that's fine. Working full-time and writing.
Yes. Let's talk about the book. So what's the book called?
So the book is called The Unbecoming. And it is my journey, which I like to say, just uncovering my true self, which was a process of unbecoming all of these things that I never was, to become who, I truly am. Yeah, that whole journey. It's essentially written as a memoir, but it is all of the themes in the book walk the reader through all of the things that I did throughout my recovery. And what that was like, the hard stuff, sad stuff, the things that were fun, the things that are funny. Yeah. So I hope that it inspires people when they read it to not feel alone through this chronic illness, because it's not something that everyone understands, because it's invisible.
I remember when you got the publishing deal and you posted it. You were in the main program still, and you're like, I got a publishing deal. I'm writing a book. And now,
I started writing it when I was still sick, because I did that as a way to, well, 'cause you guys were encouraging us to focus on things that we love to do. So I had been doing a lot of journaling, and I started doing that through the program. And then that turned into like these long journal entries. And I was like, I think this should be a book.
what did you love about the program the most? You know, was it the group coaching calls? Was it the group just being able to chat to other members?
So I loved that you allow people to go at their own speed. I mean, for me, I would just listen to the videos, and then whatever I resonated with the most, I would kind of follow through with that. And then knowing that I had this support and this community around me, whether it was the physical aspect of it or the mental, I could just be myself and ask questions, and anything that I needed at any time was right at my fingertips. It was definitely like a strong community feeling, but it was also like felt supportive and safe. And that was at that time exactly what I needed.
You know, there's people watching at the moment and they're stuck, they're lost, they're feeling alone. What would you, just some last words to them as inspiration or some guidance just from someone who's been through it themselves?
Okay, without getting teary-eyed, because this is, I'm going to think back to when I was in that position. And if someone had just come to me and said to forget about everything, just you have to clear your brain. I know that it's hard to do, but you have to stop focusing every morning when you wake up, scanning your body and figuring out what's wrong. You have to instead wake up and say, I'm breathing. I woke up. I'm alive. There are parts of your body that probably feel good, so focus on that. And then if you could just do one thing today or tomorrow that you didn't do the day before, even if it's just like walking 2 extra steps, I mean, I remember walking 2 extra steps in my driveway and being excited. Even if you just do that, like that's a win. And then the next day you're going to do a little bit more, and then you might stay the same for a month, and who cares, because you're still getting better. And then eventually it just all adds up. But just quiet your mind.